Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Senior Vice President and North American Circle of Champions member, Mr. Max Knowles!
For all the people around the world so they can see how the UK does it. Give me 1 second. Let's go. Wow. I'm so excited to be here. Are you guys fired up? Yeah. This is a new era in HEADZ, and you guys were right here at the very beginning of what's about to take place, guys. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you guys, first and foremost, for the hospitality. You guys have made me really feel like family here in the UK, even though I'm all the way from the States. It's a true honor to be here to share today's event with every single one of you guys. I want to give the credit back to all the senior vice presidents, CLC, RVPs, RDs, TCs. You guys have raised the level of what's possible here in HEADZ, and we're just so amazed by the leadership of the UK. So one more time for every single one of you guys, for all the leaders here in the arena with us today. Thank you guys so much. So I'm going to just take a few minutes just to go over some important things, because our goal is to take what we've done over the last couple years in the UK and multiply it by 10, multiply it by 20. We know that the best is yet to come here for ACN. Just so we're not total strangers, my name is Max. I've been with ACN a little over 10 years ago. I got involved when I was 18 years of age. I was looking for a way to pay my way through college. I wanted to be a lawyer. I figured if I became a lawyer, I could get rich. And so I started looking for different opportunities to pay for college, because tuition was going to be multiple six figures. And obviously at the time I didn't have the money. My parents were both struggling financially, so I had to take matters into my own hands. The problem was, most jobs at the time wanted to pay me $7 to $10 per hour. That's US money, which we know that's nothing, right? $7 to $10 an hour, which is not even enough to stay broke. So I had to start thinking, what can I go do to make $150,000 to pay for college in 24 months? And that's when I got introduced to ACN. And it's interesting how it works, because I got invited down to look at ACN. During the presentation, I was a little skeptical. I was a little negative, but that's probably because I also had a negative bank account, right? And so as I started listening to the information, I tried my best not to like it. I tried my best to resist it. I tried my best to not be interested in the opportunity, but by the time it was done, I was so fired up. I saw the possibility of residual income. And so I said, man, I want to do this business, but I don't have the money. And so I tried to walk away from the speaker. I tried to leave the room. And the guy that was presenting came and says, Max, what are you going to do? Are you going to do this business? Are you going to make money with us or save money with us? Where do you see yourself? And I said, well, I have to think about things. I don't make decisions on the spot. I got to plan everything out. And then he said, oh, you don't have the money to sign up. I said, no, I don't. I don't have the money. He said, okay, no problem. Well, let me ask you a few quick questions. Because if you don't have the money to get started, and thank God they changed the price for you guys to get in. It's so cheap now to get involved. What is it, 49 euros now? Insane. But when he said, let me ask you a few quick questions. He goes, how long have you been in your financial situation? I said, I've been in my situation for a very long time. In fact, I didn't even know it was a situation until I came to this meeting tonight and you made it clear that it's a financial situation. He goes, well, what's your plan to change or fix your situation? Well, I said, I don't have a plan. He goes, well, the problem with that, Max, is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different result. If you want things to change, you have to what? Change. He said, you need to find a way to get involved. You got to find a way to make this money. I said, there's no way. It's impossible. I'm broke. I'm struggling. It's tough out there. He goes, let me ask you this other question. If I were to sell you my Bentley GT for $499, and you had to find the money within an hour, what would you do? I said, well, it depends. What color's the Bentley? He said, it's black. I said, I'll be right back. This is great. So you'll find the money for the Bentley, but not the business. So you value a car more than you value your financial freedom. Max, you're worse than broke. We call people who think like you poor because you pass over opportunities repeatedly. You need to go find the money. Make the investment like a rich person. Make decisions like rich people would make. What does that mean? Well, they're going to make the decision to get the money to get involved in a business, because if you think like a rich person and you make decisions like a rich person, you end up what? Rich. And by definition, what is rich? Residual income creates happiness. So go find the money, get started. So here's what I did. I called up my mom. I was like, Mom, I heard about this great business. It's called CNN. I'm gonna get involved. I'm gonna get rich. It's gonna be crazy. She said, what are you talking about? Sounds like a pyramid. What are you talking about? You're grounded. Go to your room. I said, well, it's too late. I already signed up. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes. And so I got started in ACN with her credit card. She didn't even know. And I went to work. And it was starvation motivation. It was do or die. Because if I didn't make the money back, my mom would have made sure I died, right? So I had to grind. And within 28 days, I made $1,200. That was the first time I'd ever seen a paycheck with my name and a comma on it at the same time. I was fired up. But I was more fired up. After I deposited the check at the bank and it actually cleared. That's how I knew this was for real. And then I went to work. I said, if this is what I can get in a short time frame, what would happen to me if I really got serious? And I plugged into the training. I plugged into the system. You know, I had no business experience prior to ACN. Had never been successful prior to ACN. I was in a situation financially where, you know, I was concerned. I was confused. I had no direction where I wanted to go. But thank God for ACN, because over the last 10 years, we have earned millions of dollars in this business. It's allowed us to create complete financial freedom, not just for myself, but for my family. 9 months ago, I had my first child, my daughter Camille. And what's beautiful about this business, more than the money, because yes, you can make millions in ACN, but what's greater than the money that you can create through this opportunity is the quality of life, the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whomever you want. And that, to me, has been the greatest blessing that I've come to realize through ACN. So I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. I'm forever grateful to the co-founders for putting an opportunity in place for people like me. You know, because 10 plus years ago, I had no business being in business, and that's why I love ACN. Because it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is. As long as you got a desire to win, you can win big here at ACN. So I'm going to jump right into this training. If you're ready, say I'm ready. I'm ready. So first things first, what we have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, my topic's supposed to be mindset. Every single one of you are now embarking on a journey to become what? Successful. You joined ACN for what? To become successful. What is success? You're going to have to define that for you. Some of you guys may say success is making an extra 100 pounds a week in ACN. Some might say I need to make a couple 100,000 pounds a year. Whatever your definition of success is, you need to clearly define it. Why? Because whenever you're going to pursue something, there will be challenges and obstacles along the way. Some of you guys right now have fear of public speaking. Some of you guys have fear of what people may think about you. Whatever it's going to be, you must be prepared for the challenges that come with success. I had to go through my challenges. The senior vice presidents in the first row had to go through their challenges. See, but the reality is, as long as you are set on the destination, as long as you are set on the vision, no matter what shows up, no matter what comes your way, you will break right on through it, because where you're going is more important than where you are. Does that make sense? Yeah. And what we have to realize, the most important thing, the most important resource we have in life is time. Time is a limited commodity. We only have 24 hours in a day. In fact, they say the average person has 700,000 hours in their lifetime. And it's crazy when you begin to think about what most people spend most of their time doing. You know, I heard Mr. Ahmed say that most people are so busy, what? Making a living, they forget to what? Make a life. And it's so true, because if you look at this, what happens is you're born. as a baby, then you grow into, an infant, and then from there you go into school, you're a child, then you grow into teenage years, and then what? You become an adult, you go get educated, then you go get a job, and then you work that job and spend the rest of your 30, 40, 50 years working to make a life, and then ultimately you end up where? Wherever. And so it's crazy because most of us look at this and we think it's okay. Most of us think it's okay to live the 1 year repeated 75 times and call that life. See, I don't think we were meant to live, to work, to pay bills. There's got to be more to life than just grinding for the bills. Can we agree on that? See, we call it the box life. The box life. Every night we go to sleep in a bed shaped like a what? And then you wake up to an alarm clock shaped like a what? A box. And then you take a shower in a shower that's shaped like a what? And then you throw your breakfast in the microwave. Yeah, microwave shaped like a what? Box. Then you drive to work in a car shaped like a what? On the way you're looking at Facebook on your phone that's shaped like a what? Then you get to your job and sit in a cubicle shaped like a what? And then at noontime, the bell goes off because it's lunchtime, and then you take your lunch out of a lunch. Then you drive home and turn the TV on that's shaped like a... And we do that for 40 years of our life till death, and when we die, they put us in a what? That's the life most people live. But just like I didn't even know I was in a situation 10 years ago, most people are asleep at the wheel. The last thing a fish realizes or becomes aware of is the water that surrounds it. And a lot of times for people, the last thing you become aware of is time until it's too late. So I want to let you know that if you're willing to sacrifice and go hard, my mentor explained to me the power of 5 years. If you are willing to commit for the next 5 years, sacrifice for the next 5 years, you can become financially free and live life on your terms. He also showed me how most people operate. They have a 45-year plan. For every 100 people that should reach age 65, for every 100 people that should reach age, what? 65. 62% are what? Broke. 28% are what? Dead. 5% are what? Still working. 4% financially fit, 1% wealthy. So that means for every 100 people in this arena, hopefully not, but for every 100 people, we know by age 65, 95% of people will end up dead or dead broke. And it ultimately comes down to one thing. And what's the one thing that separates the 95 from the 5%? Anyone have an idea what that one thing is? Choices. The choices you make you. See, I used to live my life thinking that success was about luck. It was about magic. You had to have the right last name. If I sleep on my left side and wake up early, do 10 jumping jacks, I'll become successful. My mentor says it has nothing to do with luck. He says it's choices, not chance, that will determine your destiny. And when I understood that I have the power to choose different, that in turn means that I can then live different and ultimately create a different life. He goes, the problem with most people is they're stuck on the path of the 95%ers. They do exactly what they're told to do all the time. In fact, we were trained up since childhood to be told what to do. Most people can't think for themselves. When you were a kid, who told you what to do? When you go to school, when you were in school, who's telling you what to do? You get a job, who tells you what to do? You get married, who tells you what to do? Right? So most people have to be told what to do, and as a result, they don't think for themselves. And it's not that most people plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And if you don't have a plan for your future, guess what? That means you're part of someone else's plan. And what do they have planned for you? Not much. So here's the reality. 95% of people are on this side. 5% of people are on that side. They're employees trading hours for dollars, time for money. They work, they get paid. They don't work, they don't get paid. We understand that. Then you have self-employed people, people who own a job. Doctors, attorneys, accountants, people who are self-employed. They have specialized education. They can make good money, but the problem is they have to keep making it. Where I live in Miami, one of the places I live, but where I live in Miami, there's a lot of successful people in the area that I live. And I see that, most of these individuals are high-level professionals. In the building that I live, I think they have the highest concentration for billionaires anywhere in the United States in the building that I live in. And it's interesting to see that outside of the billionaires, obviously, who don't have to work, there's a lot of other people who live there as well. Most of them are doctors or traditional business owners. But it's crazy because most of these people during the day are never around. Most of these people are out there clocking in, putting in their time. And I used to think to myself, what good is having all the money if you don't have the time? See, when you are on this side of the equation, you are stuck. You are stuck because the minute you stop, everything stops. Now in ACN, we have a chance to build a business, become an entrepreneur. When you build a business, you own a system. You develop people, have them run the system, and guess what? It produces money with or without you. How many of you guys can see the vision of one day, in the next couple of years, you build this business the way you're supposed to? You can have an organization like Simon & Boot, where every single 30 days, thousands of customers, I should say every single day, thousands of customers come into his organization with or without. How many of you guys can see yourselves one day becoming, like a Mr. Patrick or Mike Major who has hundreds of millions of dollars in billable revenue, so no matter what happens, no matter what's going on, they have ridiculous residual income. Can you say that with me? Ridiculous residual income. Ridiculous. See, when you build a business and you build people, understand that eventually over time, it's no longer about you. That's the power of business ownership. And ultimately, as you create wealth for yourself through our compensation plan, you can then invest that money to have money working for you. So as an entrepreneur, understand that when I first saw ACN, I was not an entrepreneur. I was just trying to figure things out. I was a 95%er. So what I realized is the transition to go from the 95% to the 5% requires change. It requires personal growth. And so to become an entrepreneur is difficult. Like you heard all the leaders say, if getting rich was easy, everybody would get rich. But we know statistically that 95% of people will never get rich, 5% of people will. So we have to be willing to do what most people are unwilling to do so we can ultimately have the life that we want. I love this quote here. Entrepreneurship, and read it with me. Entrepreneurship. One more time. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Short-term sacrifice, a moment of pain for a life of glory. That's what you can achieve through entrepreneurship, but more importantly, through ACN. And so what is it going to be that's going to keep you in the game? I want to prepare you because it's not going to be easy. Some of you guys are going to be thinking to yourself, man, I thought it was just about Benavita and Illuminate. I had no idea I had to read books. I had no idea I had to get trained. I thought all I had to do was just get started and invite 2 people who get 2 people who get 2 people, and then I get rich. I didn't realize that there was more to it than just that. And so for most people, the 95% of people who aren't thinking right, understand that they may not finish this process. And here's the thing, I don't want you to become a casualty of ACN. It's so simple, because all we got to do is get you clear on your reason why. And I love the example that we like to give in South Florida of having a why bigger than money. If I were to ask you what moves you, what motivates you, what's your purpose, what's your calling? Most people don't think about these things. If I were to ask you, why are you in ACN? Some people might just say, well, I like, the products, or I like the comp plan, I like my upline, whatever it is. That's great. But I want you to dig deeper. And so the example we give, let's imagine that we had these 2 buildings. This is Jade Beach, Jade Ocean. That's actually where I live right there. Imagine that there was a big steel plank that connected the 2 buildings together. And I was going to pay you to cross the building, cross the plank to the burning building. I was going to pay you 50,000 pounds to go and do it. Put your life on the line. The building's pretty tall. It's like 60 stories high. How many of you would go ahead and put yourself in that dangerous situation for 50,000 pounds? Who would do it? 3 of us? 4 of us? The French last year were like, oh yeah, we. What if it was 100,000 pounds? Who would do it for 100,000 pounds? Okay, more of you. Now let's change it up. What if instead of money, what if it was your kid? What if it was your child that was in that burning building? And the only way we can save your child is if you got out of your comfort zone, put yourself in a situation where you could possibly die. The only way we can save your child is if you stop making excuses and cross that plank on your own. If it was your first child, how many of you would do it? Now, some of you didn't even raise your hand. The reason why is because that's what your kid looks like. He can stay. That's great. So what's the moral of the story? It's got to be bigger than money. It's got to be bigger than pounds. It's got to be something that's so powerful, so deep that it moves you. They say if you're not willing to die for your why's not big enough, because it's the why that's going to keep you alive on the journey to success in this business. So what's your why? Maybe it's because you want to have the best quality of life for your children. Maybe your goal is to buy your dream home or homes anywhere or everywhere you like to travel to. So no matter where you go, you're going home. Maybe your goal is to pay off your debts, your student loans, whatever it is. Maybe your goal is to buy your dream car so you can ultimately live that luxury lifestyle. But no matter what it is you want, and no matter what your goals and dreams and aspirations are, understand it will require two very important resources: time and money. And ACEN allows you to be able to accomplish both by you building this business. You go regional vice president, you go senior vice president, you do what you need to do. You can have both time and money at the same time so you can ultimately live the life of your desire. Does that make sense so far? And so what we got to do right now is we got to get sold out. We got to get sold out to the new direction that HCM's going on. The new products, the new compensation plan. Because once you're sold out, understand you become attractive to people. People don't follow people who have lots of money. People don't follow people who drive nice cars. People follow people who are passionately on fire about where they're going and what they're doing. Does that make sense? They say the most powerful thing on earth is a human soul on fire. And so some of us might say, I'm jacked up. But are you really jacked up? Some of you guys might say, I'm going to go SVP. But do you even believe you're going to go SVP? Because if you're not sold out, you can't sell. If you're not convinced, you can't be convincing. So before we try to get other people jacked up, we got to get jacked up. Before we get people sold out to the new ACN, we got to get sold out to the new ACN, because there's nothing better than what we have. There's no better opportunity than ACN. There's no better compensation plan than the ACN compensation plan. So the question isn't, is it going to work? I hope it works. No, you need to make your mind up today. It's working. Why? Because we're going to work. Does that make sense? Did you guys know that working works? Yes. Did you guys know that? See, it doesn't matter what it is. AC can say, we're going to come out with paper clips. You better believe I'm going to be an SVP COC with paper clips. Does that make sense? We will do whatever we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, because we have an opportunity of a lifetime. With the new bond, I can't wait for it to come to the U.S. I can't wait. Do you know that the health and wellness industry is one of the largest industries in the world? $600 billion a year in business. They say in health and wellness alone, 10 million new millionaires will be created over the next 7 to 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an opportunity of a lifetime. So when you're talking to people, the question is, do people feel you? It's not just about what you say. See, it's not about if they hear what you're saying. The question is, do they feel your conviction in what you have? Now, you're going to be running into all different types of people. You're going to be going to people, showing people this business who went to school, people who have a great job, people who have traditional businesses. I remember when I was coming up in ACN, I'd get intimidated with people who were very educated, or they had a good job. You know, they were professionals making great income, or a business owner. If I found out they were a business owner, I'd be really intimidated, because in my mind, everyone who was a business owner was making a lot of money. But then I found out the truth. And here's the truth. People who go to school, in fact, today, and I'm not here to bash education, because I'm not promoting ignorance by any means. But what I am going to say, if people believe education equals financial independence, that is not true. Does that make sense? How many of us know people who are educated and still broke? Have we realized just because you're very smart doesn't mean you're going to be wealthy? Can we agree on that? And also, some people think working hard means you're going to get rich too. How many of us know people who work really hard? They have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Your 10-year-old has a job. The whole family has a job. And you're still struggling financially. See, it's not just work hard or be educated. It's a combination of everything. But when we look at people who go the traditional path and get educated, you know, my cousin Greg, I shouldn't have said his name. Don't look him up on Facebook. When I first joined ACN, he said, ACN's a scam. It's not going to work. Why are you wasting your time? You know, you're half Filipino. You should be a nurse, right? I was like, chill, man. That's not nice. And so he was saying, you know, I should go and do what he was doing. He was going to school, got educated in engineering and all that stuff. And it was crazy because I almost listened to him. I was discouraged after he told me all his opinion about ACN. But when it was all said and done, by the time he graduated, he was 6 figures in debt. Couldn't even find a job in his field of study because he was overqualified for all his jobs. And most of the companies that he wanted to work for, engineering companies, were hiring overseas. And so at the end of the time of 3, 4, 5 years, that's where he was with his education. Now, after my 4-year window, I was a regional vice president. I was 21 years of age. As a regional vice president, we were earning a lot of money. So when we had to compare notes during our holiday dinner, I said, Greg, you told me 4 years ago that this was going to be a scam. Here's my bank account. What do you think? Here's where I live. What do you think? Here's my car. What do you think? Here's my lifestyle. What do you think? He goes, you know what? I think I'm the one that got scammed. Exactly. And he ended up joining ACN. Okay, and today he's built a big business in the organization. So what's the moral of the story? Just because someone is educated or in the process of, you don't have to bash education, but let them know they need ACN. They need ACN more than anybody because they're going to be paying thousands of dollars for their education. More than likely they're going to graduate and not be able to find a job. So we got to look at ACN as a way to help these individuals. People who have a good job, right? They're going to work 40 years. You're going to have a boss being told what to do every single day. They're not their own person. ACN can help that person. I would get everybody, no matter what their situation is, that ACN can change their life. We are PPSs, professional problem solvers. Every single person, no matter where they're coming from, a traditional business owner, a regular employee, no matter what their situation is, we have to know that what we have with ACN is 1,000,000 times better than anything they have. And when we understand that, and we show up to the presentation, and we start talking with that conviction and belief, they'll be inspired to get involved with your opportunity. Now I'm going to give you 10 quick tips for leadership in order to help you blow your business up. The first thing, ladies and gentlemen, is you got to be willing to grind. We say your grind style determines your lifestyle. When you hear these leaders hitting SVP in 2 years or less, something they make it look so simple. They're like, yeah, I just signed up, I went to a BLM and got a few people before you know it, I'm an SVP. But don't let the story fool you. See, they grinded when most people wouldn't grind. When most people had excuses, they went to work. There's people, they had to sacrifice watching games, sacrifice going to family functions to do what? To become successful in this business. Work ethic is everything. Number 2, vision. You know, you've been hearing leaders talk about this the entire day. I'll just leave you with my favorite quote. You have to be able to see the invisible in order to do the impossible. Because there'll be times in this business where people aren't joining your team. There'll be times in this business where people around you are going to be negative. Your circumstances might look dismal, but you still have to keep the excitement. You still have to keep the vision. You still have to be able to see the next 3, 4, 5 years ahead of where you're going, even if in front of you right now, all you see is failure and disaster. It's your ability to keep the vision alive that'll keep you on the journey moving forward. Number 3, personal growth. Your income will meet you right where you are. If right now you're averaging $50,000 a year, that means your personal growth is at a $50,000 or pound a year level. If you want to increase your income, increase your personal growth. Does that make sense? Mr. Jim Rohn says it all the time. Go make $1 million and then give it away. Don't make the money for the money. Make the money for what it will make of you as a person. Does that make sense? Because people, you can make money and you can lose money, But the one thing you'll keep forever is your skill set, your mindset, and who you become in the process. And that is something money cannot buy. Number 4, leadership skills. Leadership as well as skills. So obviously we are in the people business. People follow people. People join people. They don't join companies. So you have to work on you to become attractive. You have to become the person that other people want to be like, emulate, and follow. How do you do that? Well, obviously there are things you can do, such as, I heard that one of the leaders train on how you look, how you show up, your posture. These are small things that make big differences. Skills are very important. I heard Mr. Ahmed say you can't make $1 million income with amateur skills. So true. When I got involved in ACN, I had my business built on luck. What does that mean? I'd show people the business and sometimes people would join. I'd show people the business and sometimes they wouldn't join. They call it sorting. But then I realized, there is such a thing as having a precise presentation, where for every 10 people, you guarantee yourself X amount that are going to sign up. So it's not about luck, it's about a skill. It's about a targeted result. Does that make sense? And so what that means is, as a leader, you should be perfecting your presentation, perfecting the words that you're saying. Are you getting the results of your presentation or you're not? If you're not getting the kind of results you want, tweak what you're saying until you get it right. Just like the words to a hit song. Once you have a hit song, the song goes down in history forever. Today, I have a presentation. It's the same no matter where I'm at, who I'm talking to. It's the same because it's been so precisely tuned that it gets the results consistently. Does that make sense so far? These are skills that you can develop. Being coachable. So important. Sometimes we get to a place in this business where we think we know it all. My mentors, when I first joined ACN, I was like, I want to try my own script. I want to try it this way or that way. I don't want to do PBRs. It's not comfortable for my people. I'd rather have them come to the BOM. Then my mentor said this. He goes, Max, we love the fact that you're so creative with the system and you have all these great ideas. But why don't we try this first? Let's get you to $20,000 a month with the ACN system. If we need $20,000 a month with the ACN system, after that, then you can create whatever system you want. I said, okay, that's the deal. So I went to work. After 15 months, I was making $20,000 a month. And then my mentor came and says, okay, Max, are you ready to change the system? You want to do your own system? I said, no way. I'm not changing anything. No way. You can't even pay me to change the system. And so at the end of the day, the people who are coaching you, they've already gone the way. They already know the way, and they can show you the way. All you do when you question your upline is you are delaying your own success. Because the more success you have, the more success they have. And don't you think they all want to be super successful? Yes or no? And some of you might be thinking, well, they don't want to work with me anymore. Well, the reason why is because you're not coachable. If people aren't coachable to me, you know what I do? I move on. If they don't want to take my advice, you know what I do? I stop giving them advice. You work where you're deserved, not where you're needed. Does that make sense? Being committed. You got to be committed to this process. This is not get rich quick. Some people might say, if I go to this company, I'll make money fast. Yeah, you'll make some fast money, and that company shuts down fast too. Does that make sense? It's not about quick money. I'm here because I want to create legacy money. Does that make sense? I want to have something that I can build and leave to my kids, and eventually my kids' kids. Does that make sense so far? It's about long term. It's about forever success. You got to be committed. Even though sometimes things may not be going the way you want to, you're sold out no matter what. We call it unconditional commitment. I have a daughter, and I didn't realize how hard it would be to have a daughter. I didn't realize how hard it would be to have a baby. But you know what? The baby came. And when she came, you want to know what came with her? Her crying, her diaper change, her needing to be rocked to sleep and burped every night, her sleeping for 2 hours and then being hungry every 2 hours. And so here's what happened. I loved the idea of having a baby, and I was excited about that, but then reality set in. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was not going to ever be able to sleep. This is crazy. But understand, the work involved did not change my commitment to being a father. And so just like a business, ACN's your child, You have to be unconditionally committed, and in the beginning it requires a lot of effort and time and attention and focus. But here's what's going to happen with my daughter, just like your business. In the beginning you're putting in a lot of effort, you're putting in a lot of hours, but as she begins to grow and mature, the more she grows up, the less I have to do. And little by little, she becomes a teenager, eventually an adult, and she no longer is going to need me around. I won't have to change her diaper when she's 16, hopefully. I won't have to feed her when she's 16, hopefully. I won't have to burp her when she's 6. Why? Because she will be independent. Your AC in business, if you do it correctly, you give it the attention it needs. Over the next 1, 3, 4, 5 years, your business will grow and become an independent business functioning without you. But you gotta be committed. You gotta be able to push. The definition of push is persist until success happens. Say it with me, push. To persist until success happens. The ability to fight no matter what. To never back down no matter what. The person that can push will always win. Number 8, no ego. Today, you know why I'm here in the UK? I didn't come here to speak. Even though I'm here to speak, I came here to learn. Because I'm seeing what's happening with your organization, the leaders that are coming up. Nowhere have I ever seen the type of growth and momentum occur. And I'm sitting here taking notes, listening to all the leaders train. Some of you might be, well, he's been in for all these years, he's an SVP. Listen, when the leader stops learning, the leader stops leading. See, the ability to always remain hungry and humble will always keep you on top. I'm so excited to learn from all your leaders here. You should just be so blessed and don't take it for granted, because what you guys have is so powerful and unique. Number 9, as I wrap up, always in phase 1. Always in phase 1. Write this down. Rita. R-I-T-A. Rita. Recruiting is the answer. But my business is slowing down. Rita. No one's excited. Rita. People want to quit. Rita. People are not motivated. Rita. Recruiting is the answer. Never chase, replace. Number 10, attend all events. Events are the most important things in this business. Remember the 5 M's. More meetings mean more money. So what it boils down to, ladies and gentlemen, is your ability to remain fired up and excited no matter what. Being prepared for the journey, because if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't what? And here's what we want to keep in our forefront of understanding of people that had to go through what they had to go through to be successful. You know, Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team because he was so bad. Steve Jobs was fired at age 30 from his own company, Apple. You guys all know who the Beatles are. Beatles, right? They were rejected by Decca Recording Studios, who said, we don't like your sound. They have no future in show business. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. It's not going to be a walk in the park. You're going to be dealing with some negativity. You're going to be dealing with the challenges, the people are going to be questioning what you're doing, whether or not it's going to work. But understand that if you've never failed, you've never tried. And I'm going to leave you with this, the story of the butterfly. There was a guy that was walking that saw a cocoon. And in that cocoon was what looked like a butterfly trying to break out. And what happened was he just sat there and watched that cocoon, you know, the butterfly try to break free. There was a little hole, and the butterfly was trying to come out of the hole, but it was stuck and it couldn't. So the guy actually kneeled down and cut the cocoon open, and the butterfly came out. But what ended up happening, the butterfly fell on the floor. The body of the butterfly was swollen with fluid, and the wings were small and weak. And basically the butterfly was just stuck on the floor. And it ended up living its life stuck on the floor. Couldn't fly. Ended up dying. And the guy was just so astounded by what had happened, he looked for answers. Why did this happen? And he got his explanation. See, the reason why the cocoon was made small, or the hole in that cocoon was made small, was because the butterfly inside that cocoon has to be able to force the fluid from the body into the wings. So as it tries to push through the cocoon and break through, yes, there's a lot of resistance. Yes, there's a lot of pain. Yes, it can be challenging, but it's in the breaking of that cocoon that forces the fluids into the wings. So when it finally conquers the cocoon, the butterfly has its breakthrough, and now the butterfly can fly free. will be for you, but you got to be prepared. You got to be willing to accept it. Accept the journey. Don't resist it. Now, how many of you guys right now are excited about what's about to happen with HEADZ? How many of you guys are honestly making life decisions right now about what you're going to accomplish in this business and how it's going to impact your family? How many of you guys are right there with me? We'll see if you show up next Sunday to the BOM. We'll see if you show up in Rome. We'll see if you go get your product pack. We'll see if you're using Illuminate. We're going to see if we're going to be on Benavita. There's nothing easier than saying words. There's nothing harder than living. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time. I don't want you just to be excited. I don't want you just to say, I'm pumped up. I want you to put some action behind the commitment. And I want you to look at the person right next to you. And I want you to say, I'm fired up.
I'm fired up.
Look at the person on the other side and say, I'm fired up. So when people tell you you're crazy, here's what you're going to say, but I'm still fired up. I don't understand how these products work. I'm still fired up. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I'm still fired up. I don't like multi-level marketing. I'm still fired up. My team's not jacked up. Doesn't matter because I'm still fired up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to make a decision. It's time to get to work. The rest of the year could be the best if we just put our minds